What's new this month at Rogers Railroad Junction? Athearn Genesis has been somewhat busy, putting out several new offerings, such as SD75Ms. Designed as a response to General Electric's Dash 944CW locomotives, the SD75 was an evolved variant of the older SD70, boasting an extra 300 horsepower over its predecessor. Available with or without a vibration-isolated cab, the modifications weren't enough to truly distinguish it from other models available at the time, and only 76 examples were ever built. The largest purchaser proved to be the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway, which bought 52 units in 1994, marking them as the last new locomotives to be acquired by said railroad before their merger with the Burlington Northern in 1996. Boasting impressive detail on the ends, including MU connections and wire grab irons, sand lines, ditch lights, and impressively rendered HTC radial trucks are all featured, as is a Tsunami 2 decoder with Soundtrax technology. Next up from Genesis, what's black and white and filled with stuff unfit for human consumption? It's 33,000-gallon LPG tank cars, of course, although that could also describe the average newspaper too, in all fairness. A staple on American railroads for more than 20 years now, the ranks of LPG tanks have swelled recently as the introduction of hydraulic fracturing has boosted domestic production of natural gas. So much so that currently, it's almost difficult to find a manifest freight train that doesn't have at least a few of these cars tucked in somewhere. Offered in 3 different body styles and multiple platform configurations, printed placards, full underbody detail, photo-etched catwalks, and contoured metal wheels are all standard. It's the future of American energy independence, or the world's worst Oreo cookie. Hazmat flavored. And continuing on with Genesis, center flow hoppers are just in. Built by American Car and Foundry starting in the mid-1960s, these cars were stronger and lighter than traditional rib-sided hoppers thanks to their semi-cylindrical design. As a concept, they proved so successful that the idea was later copied by Trinity Rail and ultimately expanded upon with the advent of fully cylindrical beer can hoppers by Canada's Hawker Siddeley Corporation in the 1970s. With photo-etched metal roof walks, trough-style hatches, detailed discharge chutes, and a full set of brake rigging, these cars bring all the detail you've come to expect from the Genesis family. And dropping down a branch on that family tree, we have the Ready to Roll line with 40-foot 3-bay coal hoppers. Typically found in great numbers throughout regions such as Appalachia and the upper Midwest's Powder River Basin, the ranks of these cars have dwindled somewhat in recent years as America's energy markets have shifted more toward natural gas. See previous segment on LPG tanks. But even with the specter of emerging competition, thousands still remain in service, crisscrossing the country in long unit trains on a daily basis. With separately applied brake rigging, optimized weighting, RP25 metal wheels, and a removable coal load, affordable realism and trouble-free operation are front and center for these workhorse haulers of combustible dirt. Then there's 60-foot flat cars, including multiple liveries from the same road names in some cases. These most simplistic of all rail cars were originally built for fast piggyback service in the 1960s, but have long since been regulated to secondary service, hauling things like sectional pipe and rebar, and in some cases have even been assigned to maintenance of way duties. Simulated wood decking is a key feature with these, as is the telescopic brake wheel, an allowance for awkward loads and their rather annoying tendency to shift in transit. And finally, from the ready-to-roll line, there's 50-foot Thrall high-side gondolas. Perhaps best known for their all-door boxcars, Thrall Corporation became the largest American railcar manufacturer in the 1980s and helped promote the use of high-sided gondolas over traditional hoppers when it came to the transport of bulk coal. Lacking discharge chutes and associated equipment, gondolas enjoyed a greater payload capacity and lower tare weight than their older cousins. Typically noted for their brightly colored end sections, these vibrant markings identify rotary couplers, a necessity when emptying cars via a rotary dumper, the only viable method of unloading such equipment. Like all ready-to-roll items, freestanding ladders, full underbody detail, metal wheels, knuckle couplers, and optimized weighting are all standard. And finally, Kato is out with something of a rarity for them, locomotives with factory-equipped sound packages, or more specifically, SD80 Max in Norfolk Southern's Black Stallion livery. A beefed-up version of the SD70 boasting 5,000 horsepower, SD80 Max were the first 20-cylinder locomotives built by EMD since the venerable SD45-2 back in the 1970s. Boasting both power and reliability, they were quickly eclipsed by the 6,000 horsepower SD90 Mac, and only 30 units were built. All examples were initially delivered to Conrail, but the dissolution of that company in 1998 meant a forced divestiture, and the roster was split between Norfolk Southern and CSX. Built with directional headlights and working ditch lights, a 5-pole motor with dual flywheels, diamond plate treaded walkways, all-wheel electrical pickup, and as mentioned above, a dual-mode digital control system with full sound effects. Just one of many great sounding items here in the store this month. So come on down and have a listen at Rogers Railroad Junction today.